recording now while I'm dying.
Well, that was a nice little clip.
I'm dying.
Welcome to Pod Boy Things.
10-minute podcast, and I'll turn into another 3-hour drunken rant about furniture polish. I am Shadow, and I'm suffering.
I'm Wookie, and it's too hot.
Wookie has got the heat stroke, and I have sinus problems, as everyone knows. My brain is leaking out of my head. So, Wookie, oh God, let's talk about freeware. What's Ubuntu got? We're now getting new software. Tell the people.
Okay. Well, while Shadow is busy dying there. So yeah, I mean, I've been using various versions of Linux for the past almost 10 years now.
Yeah, thereabout. That and Unix is your server.
Yeah, well, this little laptop here is a little Linux file server.
Nice.
But then, for once we're at my house today.
He actually has a house.
it happens.
We recorded USP2 here.
Yeah, we did actually.
In the garden. Just half the people never bothered to actually be interviewed.
Yes, damn you bad people.
Banned people.
But yeah, so my laptop was dying recently, so I've quickly, during the week, I've reinstalled it, and I decided to play around a bit. I came across a thing called Ubuntu Studio, which is essentially a generic Ubuntu kernel, but preloaded with all kinds of creative software. So you've got all sorts of video production tools, all sorts of songwriting and song synthesizing and audio
graphics
production
design
tools. Yeah, you've got graphics design, GIMP, which is like a well-known free equivalent to Photoshop. You've got Blender 3D modeling and animation, which is supposedly quite similar to Maya. Can even import and edit Maya save files. So, yeah, it's like, obviously we're recording the podcast on this right now because we're trying to reformat Shadow's laptop, which has gone splat. And yeah, this.
I blame Raven.
I mean, the even Audacity, which is what we're doing for the audio, is just natively in the OS. So it's going to be lots of fun to play with. I'm even going to start using the GIMP to do thumbnails for our videos. I obviously formatted this laptop, and I'm waiting for all my backup files to re-download.
Freeware is good.
I love Freeware.
But what is it lacking?
Being a Linux-based OS, there's obviously not a lot of the software you'll come across in the wild where it might be Windows-specific. There's ways around that. You can use a lot of Linuxes have a Windows emulator thing called Wine, which allows.
I thought it was called X Windows.
X Windows is just the name of the graphic.
Oh, right.
It's the X window graphic system. That's just the name of the process that shows picture, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wine. It stands for Wine is not an emulator, but it does the job of an emulator. It allows Windows programs to run, but it's like 50-50 on if they work well or not. It depends on the program, and there's paid-for software that can do the same thing. You could install a virtual machine and run a virtualized Windows installation underneath if you really wanted to. But I like the Linux system because it doesn't use drivers, sort of. The OS has native drivers built into it that run about 80% of whatever hardware you want to do. Even our microphone is just plugged in and working.
Yep.
Whereas the only time that you've really ever that I've seen had to really do drivers for Linux is graphics cards and probably some like very specific hardware items. But even
which
graphics
we won't be using on the laptop anyway.
Yeah, I mean even graphics cards, they run off of a native driver. It's just sometimes if you're really intensively draining on the thing, you might want the producer, the developer, manufacturer.
Yes.
You want the manufacturer's driver if you want maybe a slight boost in performance. But the main thing is that because Linux doesn't have drivers running all of the hardware, well, at least it uses its own drivers, not third-party ones. All of your system's memory goes into doing what you're doing, and none of that is for handling the drivers. So you tend to get a nice little speed boost.
It works.
And the downside is Linux can be a little intimidating to people who are not completely familiar
Very, very different to Windows, is it?
Yeah, it's not as bad as Mac's interface in my opinion. But also Linux is, there is no standard with Linux. I mean, this is Ubuntu Studio. I could go to another computer with a stock version of Ubuntu of the same version number, and they wouldn't even look like the same system because they've got a different graphic interface running, different folder themes. I mean, Linux looks and does basically how and what you want it to do.
Yeah.
There's no set look, and the Ubuntu Studio actually, because the people who know the Ubuntu production line will know that they switched to a user interface called Unity a few years back,
Yeah.
which I don't hate as much as most people hate.
Yes.
Man, people love to hate Unity, and it's buggy. I
Yeah.
see what they wanted to do with it, but it's very buggy, and it slows down on systems that don't have lots of RAM.
Everything's buggy to an extent.
But the alternative was GNOME. GNOME was the standard UI for Linux for many years.
Yeah.
And then GNOME went to GNOME 3, which is what most people love. I hate GNOME 3. It looks kind of cool, but you have to pump it full of plugins to actually make it do anything decent.
Uh-huh.
And then again, it drains all your memory trying to look pretty. This Ubuntu Studio, I actually like the fact it's got a very
I'm digging
simple,
through his cupboards while he's talking.
a very simple, very clean user interface. It's one small little bar along the top of the screen that doesn't take up a lot of space, and that's got a little application running start menu type thing. It's got a system tray, and you can add a few other little nifty bits and pieces to it here and there.
Diablo 2 Battle Chest. Good lord, Wookie. That is, as I say, the school of the old. And I see Wolfenstein down there as well.
Yeah.
Is that Return to?
It's
One of.
It's the one where you have the magic powers.
Oh, nice one. I fell over there. I'm on the floor.
Shadow goes splat.
I'm dying of the hey, red alert booklets. Wow, this is old.
There is some very old stuff in that cupboard.
Oh my god! Look, it's the main one. Vampire Bloodlust.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've lost the poster. Shadow's
Bad
hitting me
Wookie.
now.
Bad Wookie.
I know.
You didn't lose it. You came all over Jeanette so many times. You don't. You know, it's been ruined.
That is a possibility.
That is a possibility. But bottom line, freeware is awesome if you get the right freeware.
Yeah.
And some freeware is not always freeware. Half the features are freeware, then you have to unlock the rest through money.
Yeah. But like I was saying to Shadow just before we started this, there's a thing on this Ubuntu Studio called LMMS. I think it is. Let me check. I should be doing a full screen recording session because there's also a built-in app for that on the system.
You remember the stories of vampires, werewolves and ghosts told to young children around campfires. You thought they were just stories until tonight.
Yeah,
You went to a
LMMS.
seedy nightclub on the Sunset Strip and met a person who would change your life. Dun dun dun! That was
And then
fantastic.
you saw what happened in our videos.
Or may not have seen. Don't worry, it's going to get worse. We're going to play as a Malk at some stage and then an Aussie.
Oh God!
Because
yeah.
those are interesting characters. Very different from the
Yeah.
Ventrus and your Brujars, and no one ever plays Gangrel.
Hey, I've got a Gangrel playing right here on my other computer.
I know you do, but not in my business. Nosferatu for days. It's great trying to flirt with somebody when they scream at you every time they see you. Trip is the only person who deals with the Nosferatu. So you walk in as a Nosferatu and he's like, hey, body modification. Really cool, man. Not really my scene, but yeah, heavy metal, rock and roll. I'll sell you machine guns. He's the only one who's willing to deal with it. Well, that you know, the dice will probably tell us to eat his children or something.
But yeah, so there's like a thing on here called LMMS, which is almost like a clone of Fruity Loops.
Yes.
The only difference is, whereas Fruity Loops it does a lot of hand holding for you and getting everything configured, LMMS you have to kind of know what you're doing and manually put the bits together, which I'm busy learning how to do. So I'm going to put out some songs on this soon enough, because this is...
Bottom line, some stuff you can buy or download freeware is simple to use but misses features. Other stuff it's got a lot there, but you have to learn how to use it. There's
it's a little bit more technical. It doesn't do as much hand holding.
So your Ubuntu, what we've got now, there's a bit more work we have to put into it.
Yeah, I mean, this laptop's not very powerful, but we could even buy Lightworks if we wanted to.
Oh my god, Firestorm!
Because there is a Linux client for Lightworks. So
You're about to say for Firestorm.
yeah. So you could actually install, and Lightworks is a very high-end production software, even though most people know Premiere more, but Lightworks has done a fair few Oscar-winning movies and crap, which I found out was quite interesting.
On Lightworks, yes. I enjoy Lightworks. I think it's very simple to use, although we have had issues. But then again, nothing's perfect, especially us.
Especially us.
We just improvise. Area 51! Oh my god, Marilyn Manson is what? Edgar the Grey Alien. That was fantastic. The Thing! Haha! That was such a bad game. But yes, I think that's it. We can stop masturbating all over ourselves!
Hey, we did almost exactly 10 minutes there.
Oh! The pain! Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.